Morning traders, and this is your Dow Jones day trade review for today. Now, yesterday was pretty much a sideways day, even though we ended up with a green bar, and we are sort of toying with the previous high at the moment. Okay, so before we get into that, just a quick update on the small account. So this week been pretty good. I think we've pretty much from Friday. Well, Friday was a 6% day, Monday was a 4% day, and yesterday was a 5% day. So exceeding targets for this week, which is pretty good. Having a fairly good run. And bear in mind that there are losses in here. I think yesterday there were 2 losses. That would have been a little bit more than 5%. But nevertheless, the goal is to be green every day. Okay, so just a personal goal for me is to try and get to 10,000 by Friday. So I want to try and get 2 big days in. And we've also got Thanksgiving coming up, so it should be a reasonably good challenge. Okay, so today's pretty much the last day before Thanksgiving, so I would expect not much fireworks unless there's a politician, a noisy politician that's going to come out just before Thanksgiving. But there are a few things that are concerning me about this chart. And the first thing is this pin bar, and then we have this pin bar here. So there are people that have traded this pin bar and taken a short here, or the stop above the pin bar. So that trade is still in, although with all this green, I would be a little bit cautious about something like that. And again, this market is not something that I'm interested in shorting, not at the moment anyway. Trend is up. Okay, we do have this divergence on the awesome oscillator as well, on the hour. Nothing else really, and potentially an exhaustion bar here to the previous high. So I think for me, looking for a long entry, and I think there was a perfect long entry there, your hour pin bar, inside bar, the break of that, stop pretty much here, so it's 40, call it a 50-point stop loss, and you would have been able to target the previous all-time high, which would have been 90 points. Okay, and currently for me on the small account, that would have been 3.2 contracts, because my risk would have been 171. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of the structure we see at the moment, and I think long it still is. This barbed wire was a bit frustrating here. I did get stopped out on this tail before getting back in to recover that loss, but a lot of indecision here before pretty much going into the close and after hours we rallied. So I think for me at the moment, still looking for pullbacks and then looking for opportunities to get long. But there's lots of signals here which are just warning me against even trading this today. Okay, looking at the 12, you can see lots of up and down, lots of volatility here. And I haven't seen what the volumes were, but it could be that people sitting up for the long weekend. Okay, let's just get back to the Ichimoku quickly, because there may be something here. So when we did the video yesterday, we pretty much had this climb and then we fell off, and this was a fairly, over 100 points before we sort of meandered to the upside. Okay, so looking at Ichimoku at the moment, everything's bearish. We do look like we're getting a bit of we've just got a crossover. So that is a bearish cross, but everything else is bullish. Kijinsen, pretty flat. It is bullish. So the break of a cloud, retest the cloud a couple of times before breaking away. That's also not looking too exciting. It is bullish, but it's kind of sleepy. And I think the 4 hour is a perfect example. Kijinsen's flat, Kijinsen running up. So whenever that happens, I need to be very cautious. And you can see it happened here. to the downside, Kijun flat, Tekinson running away, and then it rolls. So the same kind of thing can happen. This thing can roll. Okay, so there may be some profit taking before the long weekend, before Thanksgiving weekend, and I think that's probably what it's pointing to at the moment. Flat Kijun tickets on the daily. Trend is up, but there's nothing really else here. What I do want to do though is just quickly have a look at my stochastics. And they are grouped to the upside. We don't really have diversions. We've got a grouping on the hour, and we pretty much have diversions from those two fractals, but I'd prefer to see something between these two fractals. Okay, so nothing is, we're very overbought, so not only ready to be long, I want to see a pullback before going long, but in saying that, we're probably looking at Thanksgiving weekend, so who knows what's going to happen. Could be a very thin trading today, and it's not just going to be this market, it's going to be all markets. Then normally what I would do is I would take the next 2 days off anyway, because it would be very quiet globally. Okay, so let's just get back to Billy. So what we are looking for is longs, and I suppose the most logical thing would be a retest of this high, failing that, a retest of this breakout here. So what we're looking for is an entry of 28,136, or alternatively an entry of 28,122. Just bear in mind there's a little gap down here as well, and there's another gap. So there's a gap as well. Let's get to the 5 minute. So these 5 minute gaps is something I've spoken about quite often, but they do attract. They act as magnets, if I can put it that way. So here's a close and an open. So there's a gap there. There's a gap there. There's two gaps to the downside there. I don't see anything else there, but there are two gaps here. So that could also be a magnet all the way down the bottom here. Okay, which is 28,089. Okay, now these gaps are always filled. If you don't believe me, there's one there. There's two there. The price came to fill that one, went up to fill those two, and there's another one there. See, price came back to it. There's a 5 minute gap there. Price came back to it. There's another 5 minute gap down there. Price came all the way down to it. There's one open still there. Okay, you don't worry about the tails for these gaps. If there's a gap between the open and close, that is a gap. Okay, and it's often something to pay attention to when price is moving pretty quickly, like it did. When was this? 25th on Monday. It was moving with all these gaps. So you knew it was coming back. Came back, closed gaps, and then set up a nice pattern for a decent trade to the upside. Okay. Anyway, guys, I think enough rambling at the moment. For me, it's wait for the pullback and then looking for longs again. Okay. What we could also do is just get a breakout and then a bit of a rally into the US Open and then a short rally before everybody goes away on a long weekend. So that could also materialize. But I think we're going to have to wait for the European Open, see which fractal gets formed in the first hour of pre-market trading for European Open on the 12 minute to the upside. That'll be upside target. So for me at the moment, it's going to be pretty much all the way up here at 28,170. So I'm looking for a pullback rather than the breakout. So I'm not really interested in that. I want to see price come down, form a base, and then get in. Okay, if it's going to start running now, I'm not interested in chasing it just yet. I'll wait for the European Open in that case and wait for the fractal structure to form on the European Open before getting in. And remember, what you're looking for is breaks of the fractal while you're above the alligator, and then your stop is below the lower fractal. And you want to do that on the 12 minutes. 12, 10, or 15 minutes, pretty much is the charts you want to do. It does work on the 5, but it just becomes a bit volatile sometimes. Okay, so a break of the fractal gives you a long entry. Your stop is below the previous fractal, and so you continue. But I think the sideways motion is going to continue till Europe opens, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so quick summary again. I'm looking for a long, but I'm not looking to get in here and trace. I want to get in on a pullback. Okay, so it's buy the dip still. Okay, well, guys, I hope that helps you with out. And if you are taking a long weekend, enjoy it. And American followers, happy for Thanksgiving. And we'll catch up with you when you get back next week. Anyway, cheers from me for now. Cheers.